Hi everybody, it's Nancy Sasaki, Executive Director at Alliance Healthcare Foundation. Notice that we're in a different place. We're actually in the reception area at Alliance Healthcare Foundation, where we also co-office office with San Diego Grantmakers and San Diego office. So this is kind of where people come in and see what's going on here, but we thought we'd just have a little bit of a change in scenery. The only thing that doesn't change is this, remember? You can tweet me at AllianceHF. I'm going to keep this right here so that you don't forget. My phone is right here, so when you actually do send me a message, I can answer your questions. I'll get back to it on Twitter. Also, you can like us on Facebook. You can follow us on social media and our website and on all those other places that I'll tell you more about today. So welcome everybody. Today we have a guest speaker. Guest co-host, or I'm not sure exactly what to call y'all over there. But as you know, this year in 2014, we gave out our innovation initiative to Solutions for Change. The board was very excited about being able to give this grant because it had so many different components within it. We're going to talk a little bit more about it, but I'm going to introduce to you the CEO, Chris Megison, and also I've forgotten what your title is, also the Jennifer, so here they are. Okay, welcome Chris and Jennifer.
Hey, Nancy.
Hi.
Hi, y'all.
Was that clapping, or it sounded like fish splashing?
You know, for the purposes of today, we're going to call it fish flapping. Into the whole thing, right?
That's right. Well, when you think of aquaponics, you think of fish, so.
Well, you know, why don't you just start there, Chris? Tell us the difference. A lot of people, when I talk about the aquaponics, they think hydroponics. So what's the difference?
Well, the first thing I want to say is, again, thank you to you and the Alliance for investing in our families, and yay, that's right, give yourself for investing in our vision of solving family homelessness and in this big social enterprise here with the farm. So aquaponic farming is a very different type of farming than a lot of people have heard about. Maybe they hear about hydroponic farming or hydroponic growing, but aquaponics is fish, which is aquaculture, and hydroponics, which is a way of growing food, growing produce, combined. And when you bring those two things together, aquaculture and hydroponics, it's called aquaponics. And so you saw it this morning, and you saw how the fish drive the whole system and make everything work.
Yeah, it almost made me want to get a fishing pole, but I imagine that's not allowed. But I was definitely impressed today when we went out to the farm, and you know, I'm excited to be a part of this and getting to see where we're going to expand the farm and what you're doing there. But tell us a little more about what the farm does and why we're so excited about it.
Yeah, so Nancy, so our vision, the reason why Solutions for Change exists is to solve family homelessness, one family, one community at a time. And in order to do that, like you mentioned earlier, there's a lot of moving parts that this organization has presented to the community as a way that we can help rebuild lives and solve family homelessness, which is different, as we talked briefly about this morning, than ending it. It's so much more than just putting somebody into an apartment and saying, you know, good luck, now you're no longer. So many of the folks that we help, the families that we help, have very serious problems here. We're talking about poverty, multi-generational poverty, mental health issues, domestic violence, undereducation, underemployment, unemployment, all those things. And so what we've learned over the years of helping people is that a social enterprise is key to the puzzle of an organization solving a tough problem like homelessness, like family homelessness. And so over the years, you know, we've tried different things. You know, we had what we call a Books for Real Change program. We have, you know, we even tried a thrift store, which is when people think of social enterprises, you know, thrift stores kind of come to mind first and foremost. But we're social entrepreneurs, so we're not afraid of trying new things. It's like the sign on my wall says, "Courage is being scared to death, but saddling up anyway." And that's a quote. That's a quote by John Wayne. And the way we look at it is we have to try everything that we can. We have to experiment with different things. And you've heard the phrase "be fearless" and "be bold" and try different ways, because we've got thousands of homeless kids within 100 miles of where you and I sit right now that need us, need help. And so the farm is about really, it does a couple of big things. One, it's a workforce development location for our families. So we're teaching them how to, what I call, get up, suit up, and show up and get to work, get back to work, get back in the workforce. So it's work ethic, soft skill development, which is so important for the folks that we help. But when we're doing that in an environment like a farm, there's something really healthy about that. And what it's doing is growing top 1% food in the country, in the world. I know, I was going to say, Megison, maybe it's not top one. Well, I think it's pretty darn good, and I'll go with top 1%. But it's certainly top 10% because it's all organically grown. There's no chemicals, pesticides, any kind of fertilizers that we use. It's all natural. We meet all the standards for organic certification, and it's growing this food in a state-of-the-art aquaponics facility that's then not only feeding our families, and there's no way they get access to this stuff, but it's also anywhere else, but it's also then growing the food, and we're selling it to the Vista Unified School District, and the kids are eating it up. So it's a social enterprise that does good for our families, but also most importantly as well, doing good for society overall, and it's healthy, great tasting food, as you found out, because you were like trying to get seconds when we were there a month ago.
Well,
so it's good stuff.
While I was there today, it was really exciting because I was talking with some of the people that were working on the farm, and they were doing the seeds. They were doing all of the planting, and getting to talk to them and about their experience and how long they had been working on the farm, and what they had been learning, and some of them really talking about how therapeutic it is to just be there. To me, watching them plant those seeds in those little bitty holes, I was thinking, boy, I'd go stir crazy because that's not my personality. But you could tell how proud they were about all of the work that they were doing there on the farm, and they could see the evidence of what they were doing.
Yeah, exactly. It's we have different work assignments that we ask our folks to get involved in and go into that work development program. But the farm is everybody wants to go to the farm. Everybody wants to get out there to the farm, and it's a great work environment. And something, Nancy, they know that they're part of something that is trailblazing, that is different, pioneering, and it's purposeful. And there's something about folks who have maybe been disengaged from society, who have been really hurt or disconnected, now being part of something so purposeful that's not only helping their families, but also doing something for the greater good for other people as well.
Yeah, and I think it's just the absolute right time to introduce Jennifer because it's her story. I mean, this is exactly, she is the epitome and the perfect example of how important and how much impact this actually is having on people's lives. So I don't know if you want to introduce Jennifer and have Jennifer tell us a little bit about herself and her experience.
Hi, I'm Jennifer. I'm actually a graduate of the Solutions Program, or 1,000 Days. I started working at the farm about 2 years ago, and I can tell you that I didn't have a lot of experience in being employed. I didn't have a whole lot of self-confidence, and I didn't feel like I was trustworthy, and all of those things, working out the farm and growing things and nurturing them, it just sparked like such a huge part of me that was missing for so long. You don't really know that it's gone until you feel it. And they were able, Chris and Tammy were able to give me my trust back again, and they were able to say, here you go, we believe in you. And then just like where you talked about, that environment is so therapeutic, and add on top of that, I was saying earlier that food used to be, just something that, I ate to fill my stomach, but now it's all about the nutrition of it. It's about fuel. My kids and I, we go on walks every night, and we have big, huge salads, and like we really have come together as a family. And it's all, just going through the motions. It's all happened because of solutions. So it's
So,
great.
yeah, and there's two things that you mentioned earlier today that I'd really like you to touch on a little bit. One of them has to do with now the level of responsibility that you have after 2 years of working in the farm. You have a real responsibility there. And then also the story about one of your children that's in the school district.
Oh yeah. So yeah. And so now, 2 years later, I'm the operations manager. I get to work alongside our residents that are going through our workforce development program, and see them through the exact same thing that I went through. So I can not only empathize with them, I can guide them and to make good choices, which is incredible. Um, and my kids, I have two daughters. My 5-year-old's in the Vista Unified School District, so she's going to school, and she's eating the lettuce, and she's telling of our friends, hey, my mom grows this lettuce. She's like, eat it, and so they're eating it, and it's just it's amazing. It's all full circle. So like, I'm growing it. The community's eating it. Like our kids are part of that community, and then and then they come here and they say, hey, what are you doing? So it's such an amazing outreach and has been from day one.
Yeah, and I can also see just the pride in your face, to see that your kids are really proud of what you're doing, and you're telling other kids, and they're saying, not only that, my mom grows this, but it's also really good for you, and it's healthy, and it tastes great.
Yeah. And it opens up the door for kids go, oh, your mom's a farmer. She farms, and they think that like I'm on this tractor in overalls, and even my youngest, my 5-year-old's like, no, there's fish and they swim, and then there's plants and they grow. So she has a basic understanding of it too. And it really is trailblazing. So I think we're going to hear a lot more about aquaponics pretty soon here.
Well, that gets us back to you, Chris, and kind of like how we want to really, kind of your vision about growing this, expanding this project, and making it even bigger than Solutions for Change even.
The Alliance Healthcare Foundation grant the investment in the farm, we're gonna be able to triple the size of the farm, which will, with the different efficiencies and automation that we'll add in because of your investment, we'll be able to quadruple the amount of food that we're producing. And right now, we're harvesting about 3,000 heads of lettuce and basil every week. So this will produce 4 times that amount, which will get about 100,000 pounds of this great food into the school district, onto the plates of the kids in all the different schools. So that's pretty big, and the district they love, the superintendents, the folks, the teachers, they love being part of this because they know that not only is it getting good food to the kids, but everybody's concerned about family homelessness. You talk to people out in the community, and nobody wants to see a kid living in a car or really out there being homeless. So, but as you just described, the real big vision here is not only just getting it all the phases built out and doing a bigger farm for us, but what if we can then bundle this thing together and with the Alliance Healthcare Foundation share it with other nonprofits, share it with other communities, equip others to copy what we've done so that they can do the same thing. And I think that's what's excited the folks at the Alliance Healthcare Foundation. That's part of our vision, because if we can do something and help people, but also share what we've learned with others, that's a big deal.
It absolutely is, and I'm really excited that we're going to be partners in this for a few years. As y'all do all of the work, I get to watch and stand back and be just incredibly impressed and amazed by it all. I'm really excited about that partnership.
Absolutely.
And more tangible than that is I'm really excited to do something with my basil tonight. I was actually thinking maybe a flatbread, because somebody said to put this basil with olive oil and maybe a little Parmesan cheese, and I'll put that on the flatbread, and I've got some salmon, and I'll like grill that and chop it up and put it on my flatbread. What do you think?
Yeah, fresh fresh mozzarella. Slice some fresh mozzarella cheese on the flatbread. A little bit of olive oil, balsamic vinegar, and a little bit of salt and pepper. It's nice.
Yum, yum. I'm definitely going to try that tonight. I have a question for you that came in through Twitter. I want to ask you guys, so what do you think other grantees can learn from Solutions for Change to attract interest from other foundations? As you mentioned earlier, we're the first foundation that's really coming to support the operation. So what do you think other nonprofits can learn?
Yeah, thank you very much I appreciate that question. Yeah, when I mentioned earlier, we've got a lot of foundation support, but this foundation, your foundation, is the first one that's given a seven-figure, $1 million. So we're fortunate in that we have a lot of family foundations that support us. We've gotten some big investments before from of course, the public sector, from some private individuals, and I'd be remiss if I didn't mention our biggest champion donor, who is Mark King, who's the CEO of TaylorMade Golf, and he just got promoted to Adidas North America, who years ago joined us and said he wanted to help champion the cause for Solutions for Change. So he invested over $1 million in the organization. As we wouldn't be here today even having this conversation if it wasn't for Mark King, so I wanted to mention that. But I think the answer to the Twitter question is simply, I think that there are different models, different ways of addressing homelessness out there, and what we say around Solutions for Change is you got three options as a community. You have three options if you're a foundation that wants to help a nonprofit that's helping the homeless. You can manage homelessness, you can contain it, or you can solve it. And if you look at the first two, managing the symptoms of it and containing it, we've tried that way for about 40 years. And we spent a lot of money trying to. Now, here's the thing. Everybody wants to see somebody fed. Everybody wants to see a cold person sheltered. Totally get that. We've got to do those things. But that's only the first 5% of what we need to do. And so the difference between managing, containing, and solving are very big differences. So I would ask people to really understand what those differences are, educate yourself, understand what. First off, a lot of times people don't think, can you really even solve this thing? Is it even solvable? And we know it is, because over our 15 years in existence, we've led over 700 families and 1,400 kids that were homeless, that were not just homeless for a day or a month or whatever, but these are folks that were out there for a long time, who are now back in homes, working, healthy, back in our communities, restaked back in our communities. So it's absolutely solvable. We can solve it. As a community, we can do it. But I just ask that people really understand those differences. And, what we've done for the last 3 or 4 decades hasn't worked, because it's just, we got more homeless people. We're spending more money. And I think social enterprise is the flywheel, because let's say this is successful. Let's just say when this is successful, because we know it's going to be successful. Well, that's going to generate revenue, earned revenue after all the expenses, back into the mission of solving it. Well, you start doing that with on even a bigger scale, and you've got now more revenue, more income. And in a day and age when the government's cutting back, when people are really cutting back, social enterprise is a flywheel. It's a flywheel that organizations can use to help offset their need for government grants or other contributions from other places. So I think it's that important. As nonprofits, we got to get outside of our comfort zone. We got to be bold, be fearless, and we got to go for it. And let's try different things. But for so long, nonprofits are kind of conditioned to be careful, to be ultra conservative, to really be, to really kind of hunker down. I'd love to see our colleagues out there just say, charge, let's go for it. Let's try different stuff. Let's really try to do something different than what we've done over the last 3 or 4 decades.
I totally agree, and I think that from the foundation perspective, the answer to the question about what other nonprofits can learn is that it was such a total package. It was an innovative idea. It had the components that impacted the environment, with using less water to grow these healthy products. We're growing healthy food. We're hitting one of our primary target populations of the homeless. And not only that, you had the sustainability question actually answered, so that we could see, like, here's what it's going to be right now, here's where it could be in the near future, and here's where it could develop beyond that. So being able to come in with that entire package, you brought your proposal, is what really was impressive, and I think something that other nonprofits can look at in terms of what are the pieces that are missing in your picture and in your puzzle, and how do you fill those in a way that completes the whole cycle.
We when we went in and we presented, we said, well, we're going up against some amazing other nonprofit organizations that are just incredible, with have incredible impact, and we knew we had something different and unique, and we had something that you guys would probably like. We're just so grateful, Nancy, that your team, the Alliance Healthcare Foundation Board of Directors and Blue Ribbon Panel, saw all those things that you just said and put them all together and said, hey, you know what? Let's do this. Let's solve family homelessness, but let's do it in a way that's going to bring healthy food to people, and that could really change, and I'll even use the word revolutionize. I know that's just kind of a scary word for people. They say, whoa, that sounds like a big word, Chris, but really at the end of the day, what if we could come together in this effort, and what if this does create the kind of model that you want that we can share with others? It could have an impact on a lot more lives than just the folks that we're helping up here. And so that's my hope, my dream, is that we work together, create something that's truly replicable, that it's worthy of replication, that we can figure out all the stuff. We'll do all the hard lifting, all the hard work. We'll figure this out, and then we'll bundle it, package it, and we can serve other communities, other nonprofits. At the end of the day, one of the things that we love about Solutions for Change here is servant leadership. We're servant leaders. We are here to serve for the sake of others. So that's our culture. That's our mantra. We're here to serve to solve. So if we can figure this out and we can help others, wow, what a great thing that we're doing together. And we're excited about that.
Absolutely, and like I said, we're very excited to be partnering with you, and whereas we saw the business model and the business plan and the opportunity here, ultimately at the end of the day, what we want are more Jennifers. We want more successful people like Jennifer to go through that journey and to be, just amazing people that I really enjoyed meeting today and learning more about your journey and what success you've brought, and to see that pride and to see your kids learning new things and getting healthy food. So at the end of the day, that's what it's all about.
Well, thank you so much. Just because of people like your organization that are willing to invest and inspire and equip, so yeah, thank you.
Well, thank you guys for joining me today. I really appreciate it, and I'm really excited to be partnering with you over the next few years to make this all happen, and we'll be back to update our audience about the progress that we're on there.
Thank you, Nancy.
Thank you.
I
hope you know that you're Farmer Nancy now.
Yeah, Farmer Nancy.
Yeah, I'm going to change my profile picture to that one you posted.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
So don't forget, everybody that's still with me, don't forget to tweet me at AllianceHF any questions that you have. And we've kind of gone a little bit over time today, but I just wanted to say that I know we're going into back to school time of year, and it's a great opportunity to think about how are you going to continue to have healthy meals for your kids as they go to school. So definitely think about having healthier foods for your kids when they go back to school. But I was also reading something that said, you know what, for those of you that aren't working full time, it also frees up maybe a little bit of time that you can get out and go for a walk and think about your own health and ways that you can spend some time with your own health. And then just as a final note, you'll notice that Sylvia is not with me today, and I am so sad to announce that Sylvia is leaving the Alliance Healthcare Foundation and will be no longer with us as of the end of this month, and I'm really, really sad about that. I didn't have a sound, but makes me sad. But I hope you'll join me in wishing Sylvia the best in her next endeavor, and it's been such a great pleasure with you. So thank you, everybody, for joining us today. Bye.